Hey, Gutfoxx here. So, just watch Pete Alonso go off in the first round. Kind of crazy. We got a lot of stuff in game today, right? I'm going to rank the TA3 cards. We'll be back here in a little bit with the Home Run Derby cards that are coming out in a little bit. The World Series rewards are kind of bad. It's a little disappointing that World Series kind of got shafted. We got Larry Walker, and generally Larry's a good card. Last year, his inning boss was insane. This card's a little weak against lefties. There's some TA cards that came out today that are better than this one. 69 speed is it. I think he had 33 stolen bases that year. 69 speed seems a little on the low end. So, unfortunately, we'll suffer against lefties, but he is a great bench bat. Like, the most insane bench bat in the game against right-handed pitchers. And then we got GOSSAGE here, who's basically the same as his last card, which is disappointing, right? TA5, or sorry, not TA5, Parallel 5 GOSSAGE on his 95 overall card is only 2 hits per 9, K per 9 less than this one. There's a little bit more control, like barely anymore, and a little bit more break on his pitches than this card, but very underwhelming. I mean, like, they could have done so many different cards for this when he's already got a card that's basically exactly like this. And the fact that he's got no outlier, too. If he had an outlier, then it'd be different. But the fact that he doesn't makes him a very disappointing. We've had some pretty bad World Series rewards. Oh, David Justice is insane. Like, you use David Justice in the event. Yeah, he's gonna hit a whole lot of bombs. Now, that's not all the event, but it's mostly the event. 2000 OPS. Okay, crazy. Anyways, ranking the TA cards that came out today. We're gonna go from bottom on up since we started from the bottom. Now we're here. Okay, so number 30 in my opinion will be Mr. Kimbrel, right? Kimbrel. Isn't that the guy that, got framed for murder against the one-armed man? So, actually, let's go to programs. What's the best? Let's do it from the inventory. I think that's the best way of doing it possible. So, inventory, series. And some of these cards I've used already. Some of them are just based off, their pitches. So, I wasn't able to get them all done today. But Kimbrel himself, right? 97 overall. The fact that he's got like 2 pitches, I mean, his 2-seam doesn't exactly have a lot of break on it. Good break on the 4-seam, but we'll see. I don't know if the arm side run is that crazy. We have too many guys with like outliers now for a right-handed pitcher with only 2 pitches. It doesn't really play, even though it's got 125. So you're going to see some insane, much better relievers later. And I'm kind of disappointed in this Kimbrel card, but you know what? I'm glad that they didn't fake him, right? I'm glad that they, like, unlike like Mariano Rivera, who they just like gifted a sinker somehow. I'm glad they didn't like gift him mystery pitches to make him relevant. He's actually like Craig Kimbrel IRL, which sadly in this game doesn't actually exactly play out the meta. So I see why you do different players with different pitches, but it's sad. Now this Kikuchi, right? This player right here, I've never actually faced Kikuchi in game, but right before this video, I went onto in practice mode, and I was like, well, maybe he's got a really deceptive delivery. No, it's actually really easy to see. He was a few spots higher on this list, but then I went to practice mode against him, and it was just it was pretty evident out of the hand that this card, while he's got a cutter, right? The pitch break's only 81 on the cutter, which is just tragic. So 92 miles per hour on that isn't exactly gonna break off a lot of bats. It will probably some in addition with the 4-seam, but slider change are solid. No sinker. I mean, I just don't love it, right? I just don't think like he's gonna make the top 5 for a lot of players' rotations. It's crazy that all these cards are free. I will say that that's wild that they've made all these cards free, which is insane. Some of these are some of these are end game. Like you guys will be playing with these cards through January, February, which is just crazy to me that they're this powerful and for free. Trevor Rogers, I'm gonna go at 28 here. So Rogers himself is, a solid player. The reason that I like him is because he's got like a lower angle on the arm. You can't see him off camera. Lower angle on the release on his arm, which is kind of cool, a little deceptive. A lot of guys struggle with kind of more halfway type releases like Rogers. The thing is, it's 4-seam changeup slider. It doesn't have a sinker. It doesn't have the cutter. I mean, slider's kind of like a more exaggerated cutter. I do like the difference in speed between the fastball and slider. You'll see this on Josh Hader, but we know Hader's got something. So like this is like a non-changeup Hader as a starting pitcher, it can play. But let me tell you, without the changeup, it really does. Oh, sorry, without the actually, it does have a changeup. What am I talking about? Wow, I'm super slow. It does have a changeup. Pretty good overall, but it doesn't feel like as deceptive. I went against him in practice mode also, but I might be wrong. Maybe Rogers does end up fooling people. My practice mode was on legend difficulty, but I didn't crank the sliders. So maybe, I don't know. I just don't have faith in him. Fastball, changeup, slider. Whereas I've actually used Hader, who you've seen a little bit, and have been really successful. So Rogers is currently like up in the air for me. GAUSMAN I'm gonna put at 27. So the thing is, like, a lot of these cards are absolutely insane, and if one surprises me, I wouldn't be surprised if it's TREVOR Rogers if I end up putting him a little higher. But GAUSMAN here, high overall cards. The thing is, like, there's so many of these cards that are insane that it's like, when I put them low on my list, these are still crazy cards. One of the best in the game. Kevin, 114 hits per 9 is really nice. The Ks per 9 means you're gonna get, like, fouled off a little bit. 4-seam 96, splitter, slider, change, curveball. So it's kind of cool. All of them are basically the same miles per hour for the off-speed stuff. No sinker or cutter means he doesn't have one of the two big meta pitches. Makes it hard to believe that he's going to be crazy. He's going to make a lot of rotations when we have, we got OHTANI coming later. Whenever we see that collection, we got DEGROM out here. We also have some other cards I'm going to go through that I feel like might be a little bit better overall. Number 26, and I could totally see this card being lower in the list, and I wouldn't fight you at all, but Brantley, I don't like Brantley one bit, right? In the outfield, there's a ton of competitions. First of all, outfield is the hardest place to break in the game. And where are you at? Brantley. Now, against righties, he's solid. Against lefties, he's gonna struggle with the power. He's also slow and got no arm. Now, I can deal with, like, maybe one of those. Like, no arm I can kind of deal with, but slow, there's gonna be so many bloopers that you're gonna miss, so many down the lines, like robbing, like, dude, Buxton is such a pain in my ass, and his speed out there, reaction. Now I do like his 88 reaction, that makes up a little bit for the speed, but, well, especially once you get parallel 2 over 90. But man, I don't like that. He just doesn't really offer me a whole lot that you can't get elsewhere from other cards. All right, this one pains me to say, but we're gonna put the Pirate as the second worst position player out there, so we're gonna go FRAZIER there. Why is FRAZIER? Because, again, the lack of power, especially against righties. He got nice contact there, but you really do need some drive there. Sadly, it's not a contact year, it's a contact and a little bit of power year. Like, Jackie Robinson is amazing, but he's got in the 80s power, 54 power, I just feel like isn't good enough for me. Great reactions, again, not very fast, which is a struggle squad, right? I do want more speed there, but reaction's really nice. Yeah, can play all over the field for you too. It's just that one power versus righty screwed over his card, and that's why he's where he is. Like, right, you really have to nitpick with these cards because all of them are so good. And I want to hear what you guys think. If I got anybody too high or too low in this list, definitely let me know in the comments. Of course, always. Chris Taylor in the game. I mean, all these cards, right? If they're your favorite player, they're not going to play horrible for you. If you're bad, you're bad. If you're good, you're good, right? If you're getting your PCI in the ball, a lot of these cards can hit the ball really well. Like, a lot of these cards, you're good because you bail me out when I don't have good PCI placement or good timing. And I'll talk about some of those later that are really going to bail you out hard. This, Chris Taylor against lefties, you're going to get a little bit of that bail button. Against righties, you're going to struggle a little bit more. Speed and reaction is really nice there for the outfield. And this arm, great too. I do not hate this Chris Taylor card one bit. The fact that I'm rated at 24 just goes to show you how insane the rest of the rosters, the rest of the cards are, right? Like, I very well could easily put this guy, like, 10. And I wouldn't be against putting him up higher. Like, I absolutely think this is a very solid card. And maybe I did rate him too low, but you guys are going to see this. Like, it's crazy. Now, this one, I might, like, I've been through this list quite a few times, and every single time I go through it, I change guys around. Maybe Rodon's too high. Maybe Chris Taylor should go over him. But let's take a look at Rodon. I think if I recall correctly, now this is not one that I went and played. He's got an interesting delivery too. 4-seam slider, change curve. I might be wrong there. Then he might be able to be picked up quite a bit. I like his hits per 9. K per 9 at 101 is solid. Overall, a pretty decent pitch rate here. Slider at 96 break. There you go. Right? Doesn't have a meta pitch, so it's not crazy. I think I may have put him a little higher. I think, like, we're gonna actually end up changing him. I'm gonna put Taylor above him. So we're gonna go right here. We're gonna go right here. And every time I go through this list, I just like, maybe I want to go here. Maybe I want to go here. It's hard to nail it down, right? But we'll of course play more games with these things going forward. Number 22, let's go back there, will end up being JT Realmuto. Now there's a few catchers that we got during this TA3, got more catchers than the Rye right now, and he's a fast catcher. If you want a fast catcher, he does have the pop time court. Like, if you hate base runners and guys stealing on you, get Real Muto. They're not going anywhere. He's got the pop time quirk. He's got 98 arms. They will like probably, unless you're throwing the ball in the dirt or some sort of thing like that, a Buxton's gonna have a very hard time running on this card. Real Muto will shut that down. Now, he sucks against lefties, right? And a lot of the meta right now is lefties pitching, from Lee to Leiter to Valenzuela. Like, there's a lot of lefties that you'll see online. Of course, we're going to get more righties now if people start going more OHTANI, DeGrom. Obviously, Edward Cabrera's out there, and he does do well against those with 100 over each in those attributes against righties. So if you want a defensive throwing runners out stud, he's your guy. But I just feel like that weakness against lefties, and it's a tough one, because when I have a righty up there, I want them to destroy lefties. I want to have the advantage in all possible aspects. Another guy like Ramirez, and to me, is tragic, right? Ramirez is like so close to being something like not necessarily like end game, because we already have our end game third baseman. He's not going to get close to Chipper, but Ramirez, when I find him, there you are. His problem is like, okay, 80 contact. It's not that great. Like, okay, at low levels, 80 contact is fine. 80, 125 against righties is freaking insane at All-Star. That is home run central. Okay, but then if you go against lefties, you're not exactly home run central at All-Star at that point. Okay, but say you go higher up, say you're playing at Hall of Fame legend difficulties, 80 contact, it struggles a little. Now you're gonna still be able to make contact, still do pretty well there, and you're gonna kill righties once you do make good contact. But yeah, it's tough to kind of like give that balance on different, it really depends. A lot of these rankings also what difficulty they ever play, so I try to balance it out. But he just has two flaws right there at the dish. I love his position flexibility. I love switch hitters. You guys know how much I absolutely adore switch hitters. So it's too bad his contact and power are where they're at right now. Soto at 18 home runs at the moment. But next up on the list from after Ramirez. Now this one's gonna anger probably some people in New York, but I don't like Aaron Judge, right? I as a human being, he's great. Sorry, I gotta, as a card, the biggest problem I have with this card is his strike zone's the size of Montana. And sure, you can make that work. 89 contact versus rights, definitely better than like Stanton, for example. 60 speed out there, maybe a smidge lower than you want to see. You can definitely use 60 speed with 99 reaction. It'll play a lot better. Obviously, it's nowhere near Buxton. But like against righties, right? 89, 103 is good, not great. And if I'm gonna put a guy out with the size of strike zone, he's very I would say polarizing that way. His strike zone is large. Low vision means it's gonna be a little harder to foul balls off, but sometimes that stuff's random. So overall, just because I don't like the way he swings the bat and covers the zone that he's in is why I have him at 20. His stats are definitely okay though, or attributes, whatever. Nelson Cruz in right field. Now the reason I have Nelson Cruz above Judge, Nelson Cruz sucks. What are you talking about, Fox? The reason he's above them because you got to basically think of how are you gonna put these guys in the game, right? Judge, say you're like, okay, I don't want to play him every day. I want to play him against lefties though, right? So you're like, okay, well I'll bring him off the bench. Maybe I'll platoon the guy. Platooning is one thing, and Judge I think is a fine platoon. But if I'm gonna bring him off the bench, right? If I'm bringing somebody off the bench, Nelson Cruz is my dude off the bench against righties. 125, 114. You can argue, that you want more power against off the bench, but 125 contact, it 100% plays, right? I thought I'd hate Jackie Robinson this year at higher difficulties or overall, but 125 contact plays better this year, especially with that kind of power than I feel like, the reverse. And 114 power, it plays, but I'd rather have that at contact. As long as my power is like over 110, you're definitely hitting home runs. So I don't know. That's my whole point. Is I feel like Nelson Cruz has a spot on my team, whereas Aaron Judge does not. So that's why I have Nelson Cruz above Judge. He's 6'2" versus 6'7", so it's easier to hit in that zone. Plus the contact means you can be covering a lot of the zone more proportionally than Judge, and that's why I have Nelson Cruz one spot above him. Now, talking about bench bats, I feel like it's easier to get top-end right-handed bench bats, like Gloss. He's at 125, 125. We have Ryan Braun at 125, 125. So having somebody from the other side of the plate, where we got a couple first basemen, right? Now we have Jared Walsh, David Ortiz. We have Tomey, all guys that hit like 120, 125 in those stats. Another guy that's free, Jared Walsh, and he destroys right-handed pitching as a left-handed bat. So we always used to have, for a long time, I used Winker in this spot. And now Walsh can basically, you know, instead of Live Series Winker that needed to play inside edge up, I now just have Live Series Winker with automatically built-in inside edge. Like, because all these quirks are still active, right? So basically, what's awesome about this Jared Walsh card is he has Dead Red and Breaking Ball Hitter. So he has active quirks. Like, you know, generally only Live Series cards have active quirks. Now they give active quirks to these Team Affinity cards. So you look at Dead Red, Breaking Ball Hitter, basically no matter what somebody throws at Walsh, he's going to destroy it, right? Road Warrior also means if you're playing on the road, he's going to be a little bit better. Like, also Pressure Cooker. When there are runners on base, he's also going to hit better. So the fact that no matter what they throw, Dead Red, Breaking Ball Hitter, he's going to play up from 125 to 120. I don't know how much he could play up, but the exit velocity is going to go up. So I like this Jared Walsh card quite a bit off the bench. So he's definitely got a spot on my team, which is why he's 18 again and why I rate him over Aaron Judge, who might be more well-rounded, because you don't want to use Jared Walsh against those kind of pitching, left-handed pitchers. Ozzy LBs. Now this is an interesting choice because, again, another card that's got some weaknesses, but his flexibility definitely adds a lot. And I feel like it really depends on how you're going to construct your roster, right? This guy destroys lefties. He's a switch hitter, so he can, like, it's not a bad platoon, right? Like, I talk a lot about platoons in this thing, and you can't platoon that many positions. You're going to platoon, like, maybe one or two. But, like, LBs, okay, say you know, start, I don't know, a left-handed second baseman or something, or somebody that's really good against righties at second base or shortstop. And then they start a left-handed pitcher. Then you bring in Albies, okay, and then he's dominating left-handed pitchers throughout the entire game, playing really good defense, decent speed there. And then they bring in a righty at the end. Now, you don't have another batter to hit from, but he's a switch hitter. You're still going to have the advantage. It does suck. Your stats suck. So I do like him. I like the middle infield style for him. I like his swing. He played really well for me. His live series card at the beginning of the year when I used it right out the gate. So it's a little bit more personal bias in here for Albies because I really did like the way he actually produced on the field for me. And then now he eats lefties for breakfast. Yes, he's a cannibal. All right, Teoscar Hernandez is my number 16 card. So Teoscar is right here. Now, I love 81 speed, you know, decent speed, right? Reaction is unfortunately low, which is unfortunate. Now, I'd rather have a higher arm than arm accuracy, but overall, he kills lefties again. Okay contact against righties. The thing is, he's like a defensive stud, so it's a little bit easier. And, you know, like I talk about him versus Judge. Would you have a Judge out there or Teoscar, right? They both destroy lefties. Teoscar's more contact, less power than Judge, but he also plays faster. And the fast plays on the base pass. Who's going to get to a ball further? A guy with higher reaction or higher speed, 20 speed or 20 reaction or 28 reaction. I don't know, right? And he gets up to, you know, once you parallel these guys, obviously it's a little different story on some of those things, but that's tough. Teoscar versus Judge. Again, this one offers incredible bench value also, and not incredible size strike zone. So Teoscar, if you can't find him on your field, you can find him on your bench, destroying left-handed pitchers, and then actually playing good defense. So he's also above Nelson Cruz for that reason. Nelson's got a nice swing, though, so I don't want to knock him too much. All right, Devers at third base. A left-handed guy that destroys righties. One of my kinks, right? One of my kinks are left-handed hitters. I hit better with left-handed hitters. Obviously, lefty, I'm not that great. But overall, plays a very mean third base. 91 arm means he's going to get guys, you know, deep in the hole on hard plays to make. Fielding not being credible, which is tough. Speed isn't insane, but, you know, he smashes righties, and got to give him credit. Love when dudes smash righties. Devers also has a nice swing. I feel like it can really, like, elevate the ball nicely. So Devers I put at 15 for that reason. A very solid corner infield. Like, there's no reason to get him in unless, you know, if you have, maybe it's not worth it unless you're a Sox fan or you don't have, which I know a lot of people have, a chipper. So I don't know. Maybe not worth it. But yeah, overall, whenever I faced Devers cards in the past, I've hated the at bat, especially with a right-handed pitcher. With a left-handed pitcher, Devers is kind of a pushover though. Number 14, Cronenworth. Again, some of these positions, like the middle infielders, are a lot easier of a position to make and to make it on the field than the outfield, right? The outfield is the most competitive position outside of maybe starting pitcher in this game. Cronenworth I really like because he does well against righties, right? Maybe a little bit worse against lefties. You don't see a ton of amazing Righty killers are at second base. You know, they get a couple, of course. Jackie does well. But overall, you know, you can put McMahon there too, who does well against righties. But Cronenworth, very good speed. Look at that reaction. The arm is fine. You know, he can play anywhere in the infield. I like the flexibility of this card. I like he's basically an all-around threat, except for against lefties, right? The power against lefties really does hurt his card, but being able to play every position, it can't be underrated at all, especially with his ability to kind of move on the field and the base paths with that. All right, number 13, lucky number 13. I'm going to go with an incredibly balanced card, Eduardo Escobar at third base. This is the guy, if I had a, which I did, had a choice, this is the guy I'm going to play at third base because basically, sure, contact 88-91, but now his powers are broaching 108, 111, which once you get a parallel, it's, you know, both of them hitting 110 plus. Okay, speed 69, you know, like I said, if parallel that up a little bit, it's over 70, still looks a lot interesting. Great defense too, incredible arm. So overall, just like a 5 tool, maybe speed, you can consider it a whole tool, but like an overall well-balanced, solid switch hitting third baseman that is actually serviceable pretty well at second base too, or short if you want it there. And like I say, I have a huge kink for switch hitting. His quirks aren't as good as a lot of other guys though, so shout out to quirks. We don't oftentimes talk about them enough. All right, right here at 12, Matt Olson's got a sweet swing, right? By stats, by position flexibility, I don't think he's there, but the fact that he's able to lift the ball, and the thing is, like, 114 power versus lefty. What is he, 2 for 4 with no home runs, but he does have nice contact all around. Nothing insane there, but good power, very good reaction at first base. Basically a absolute wall over there, right? He'll be making all those diving plays, stopping the ball. Gold Glover, not the fastest though, which is frustrating. So you're really not a great right fielder unless you're going to really rely on reaction, but overall, phenomenal first baseman there defensively and at the dish, a threat against both righties and lefties. And again, got a great swing that I've used. All right, next up, Salvador Perez. Now, I don't love his swing, right? I talk a lot about the guys. I talk a lot about the guys when I do love their swing. I don't often talk about guys when I don't love their swings. Perez in the past has been just like, for me on the swings. So I guess I gotta mention that. But again, like, if you platoon this guy, if you got the monthly Schwarber, it's done, right? You got end. And like I said, I say platoon so much, but you only got a couple. Then not a bad platoon at all. Just incredible, right? And even if they bring in a righty later, like 93-90 is nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at all. Like, you know, like I say, like my power over 100, or my contact well over 100, but still solid defense. He's got dead red, which is nice. He doesn't have the breakable hitter, but he can fit fastballs like crazy. A night player. So overall, he doesn't have the pop time, which is a frustration for catcher. So guys will be able to steal him a little bit better. But overall, an absolute lefty killer there for Salvador Perez. Okay. Next up on the list, which you guys are not currently looking at, is Cedric Mullins. Okay, in center field. Cedric Mullins. Oh, all the way down here. Right. Last page. Did I miss him? I must be blind. There he is. 98 overall. Great contact. Great contact. He'll get over power 100 once you get parallel 1. Speed, it's there. Reaction, it's okay. His biggest downside is the arm strength. This guy has got a wet noodle out there. It's bad. It's real bad. It's tough. Ooh, OHTANI's got... Oh, he missed Soto. Looks like Soto beat him. Dang. Wait. They tied. They tied at 22. Dang. What's going to happen now? I don't know. Anyways, Cedric Mullins. I like him. That's all I got to say about that. Sweet swing. Not really. I don't know. I haven't tested it enough. I've only played like 2 games with them. No, 3 games. 3 games with them. 2 rage quits early on. And then 1 game went to like the 5th or 6th. You guys will see... Did I just spoil my gameplay video for tomorrow? Darn it. I'm bad at this. All right. Marquez. Why is Marquez so high? I'll give you 1 guess. 1 guess why I have Marquez this high, and like the last starting pitcher was like 20 or 23 or something. I'm pretty sure you guys can understand. He's got a sinker. His sinker's got 87 break with 95 mile per hour, 95 control. He's also got a slider, which plays pretty well. 90 control, 92 break, 86 miles per hour. So negative 9 miles per hour. It's about normal. Knuckle curve and changeup. So he's got 5 pitches. You know, I don't love fastballs unless I'm dotting the bottom corner away from my pitch from the opponent hitter. Then the fastball's great. You love cutters a little bit more for that job, but fastballs can definitely get it done. Overall, pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, right? Like, he's got a sinker. He's got a meta pitch. What more do you want? I pitched him in the game. He did well. Guy did not like facing him. That's all I can say. I don't want to spoil anything more. Whoops. Sorry, I freaking spoiled my own content. God dang it. Can't take me nowhere, dude. Don't ever take me to movies. All right, Zunino. Why is Zunino this great? Okay. Zunino's interesting. He's really cool. On All-Star, he's an absolute god. On higher difficulties, would I rather have him? I mean, okay, against lefties, he's got it, right? He also has pop time quirk, which is something Salvador doesn't have, which is why I like him better than Salvador defensively. His power against both of them are 125, which means if you PCI it up, the ball's flying. I love his blocking, reaction. Might be worth it to, again, platoon with Schwarber. But, oof. Those are some sexy power. Like, this is jaw-dropping power. This is, like, if you're playing the game in All-Star, like the Moonshot event, this is that dude. I mean, Schwarber's that dude, too, but this is a right-handed god. I that's all I gotta say about that. But higher difficulties, I definitely see the downside of going against righties with that contact. Adolis Garcia is my center fielder, my number 7 choice. We're getting high up there, boys. Garcia is right here. Again, power, yowza. Better against righties and lefties. But once you face a lefty, you got the platoon advantage then. So like 90 power, I feel like plays similar to 100 power if you get the platoon advantage. He's also fast. Reaction 79, maybe you want that up to 80. You probably do once you parallel them once. I just love this, right? I absolutely freaking enjoy this. I'd show off more stats, but again, I'm spoiling my own videos, and I should realize I don't do that. It's like that kind of speed, that kind of power. Oh God, like I'm just all these cards are just like I have no other words. It's like staring at the sun. Like I might as well lose my eyesight after it because I won't see anything better. Now that's obviously not true. There'll be some better cards in the end of the game, but like what? 99 speed on this card with 125 contact against lefties, and like his weakest is 85 power, his weakest spot. Like this guy's like Jackie against lefties, but then 199 power against righties, which will go to 100 when you parallel one him. Like I'm just like absolutely like surprised at how incredible this Trey Turner card is. I thought he'd get power in like the 60s. Like this is absolutely juice to high heaven. Right? Like, this is like endgame Honest Wagner. Maybe Honest Wagner had more contact for his righty, but like, what? What? And he's 6. Maybe you don't like his defense as much, but maybe he should be higher. But what? Oh, goddamn, I spelled it backwards. Castellanos is 5. I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna spoil something. This contact, along with these power numbers, are just insane to me, right? A better Jackie at the plate, and then he's got a nice swing, right? I was very early on a slider away from Edward Cabrera in my game, and I put that bitch over the fence. Pulled that a deep drive to left field with Castellanos up. He lives up to the meme. I love it, dude. He's got a nice one-handed release. A lot like Scope that way. Just absolutely elevates and eliminates. Friggin' love it. Freaking love it. And that's all I gotta say about that. Well, I guess I can look at his quirks. He has Dead Red. Dead Red's all he got his quirks. All right, number 4. Now we're gonna get into. I think I'm just gonna paste these all. The 3 reliever spot. Ah, shoot, I should have done it better. These ones I feel like are kind of interchangeable. The issue with Hater, he's got a really hard to pick up release for a lot of dudes, and I struggle with it a lot too. And I'll tell you something about Hater's timing. But okay, why are these things so great? Outlier, sinker, and then Hater, right? 2 outlier sinkers, and that's the reason why we hate Cabrera so much, right? So let's look at Hater first. Hater's got that wicked release point. So he throws 96. He doesn't have a sinker, but he's got like a 13 mile per hour less slider, which also plays differently than that. Sure, the break on it's 85, but it moves quite a bit. I'm surprised it's not a more break. Changeup 86 is kind of like a throw off pitch. And then the 4-seamer, you know, it gets on you, especially lefties, right? It actually gets on lefties quicker than I think. I haven't tried his 2-seamer that much. I'd be interested to see how much 99 pitch break on a 2-seamer looks like, and if that's close enough to a sinker. Because 99 pitch break, you know, on a 2-seam, it's got some arm side run there. And then he's 125 hits per 9, Ks per 9. So I really do like his release. I feel like it's deceptive and hard for a lot of dudes to pick up. The slider in on the hands will absolutely throw people off and make it look silly, especially if you establish velocity high and away, low and away, inside on the hands. That slider plays really well off of it. All right. Next in the relief pitcher, Alex, Reyes, and Soto. Now, these things, Reyes and Soto could easily go back and forth. Reyes is lower because Reyes is a right-handed pitcher, and I feel like, you know, left-handed, there's more right-handed relievers that are good than left-handed relievers that are good. His sinker has a 69 pitch break, which unfortunately isn't incredible amounts, but you know, 95, and then it's got outlier, so it's not gonna sink a ton anyways with outlier, but it's still gonna get that little hump that's gonna throw people off just enough. So throwing that Edward Cabrera sinker, then you got a slider curve changeup off of it. It's, you know, a closing pitcher Cabrera with 125 hits per 9, 115 K per 9. And then we have Soto, so a left-handed demon, quirk, outlier 1. His sinker goes 100 miles per hour from when you enter him to when he ends. 123 hits per 9, 113 K per 9. And then again, slider, changeup to play off of those two. Now, slider and changeup don't have nearly as much differential in them as we saw, of course. Actually, I don't know. Once the sinker hits 100, you know, slider and changeup being the same mile per hour isn't the greatest, but overall they'll end up at 2 different spots. His sinker has a 74 pitch break, slider 94, so slider is going to dip quite a bit. Soto is going to be a hard lefty to hit and an absolute freaking shutdown dominant reliever. I'd be surprised if he isn't. So these 3 relievers are all endgame. Absolutely, you can see these relievers until the end of MLB The Show 21, until next March, April. You very well be seeing these guys, which is just incredible to me, all 3. The number 1, I think you know who it's going to be. I don't really have to say anything. If you've watched one of my rankings before, you know Taiwan number 1. Always number 1. DeGrom in-game, though. So amateur division, non-Taiwan division. I had, like, obviously, you know, OHTANI, he's a collection reward. I didn't include him in this thing. But, like, looking at his attributes, he'd be number 1, but he's a collection for the All-Star. We'll see him in a bit. DeGrom here, right? He has the outlier fastball. Very hard to catch up, especially on, you know, faster things. It is luckily just a fastball. It's not a sinker. And then he has slider, changeup, curveball. And the slider with 99 pitch break, it's definitely gotten buffed from where his live series cards. So this one is slightly better than his live series cards. Higher hits per 9, K per 9. So going to be hard to make contact. And you're going to swing through a lot of his pitches. So if you can properly sequence with this Hater, with his changeup slider, don't be afraid of throwing the changeup in the zone at all when people are sitting fastball. But if they can't hit the fastball, keep pumping a fastball. Because some guys just literally cannot catch up to 102, and DeGrom will throw you a perfect game at that point. But that's it for the rankings. Let me know what you guys think, who you guys would have where, who have you used yet that's been phenomenal. Thanks for watching. Call to action. I will see you tomorrow or later for more videos. Please thumbs up, subscribe. It helps the channel quite a bit.